Yeah, go.
So, how long was it before you knew it was time to tie the knot?
So that's one of those weird things. Like, it's not one of those things that was like, I'm going to get married. Because all my life I was like, who needs to get married? But I met Guy and we actually were not a couple. We were not seeing each other. We were just friends. You know. Yeah, so we actually were friends for 4 months before we actually became a couple. And then we got engaged. Yeah. So not very long at all.
No. What advice would you give newlyweds?
The honeymoon period does wear off. You never really know somebody until you live with them. I really have had like zero expectations. Like, go with the flow. It is what it is. Don't force things. That would be my advice.
What would you miss most about Guy?
Guy has a whole other language, and so he just makes up random words all the time. He uses sometimes 3 words and puts them together to make this word that is not even a thing. Although you do understand what he's saying and what he means, they're still really stupid words, so I would miss that because they're hilarious. For example, melge. That's what happens when you eat too much cheese and it's in your throat. It melges. Yeah.
Are there any other words?
There are, but so what I do is when he comes up with one of those stupid ass words, I write it on the calendar because they're so dumb that you cannot remember them, and he can't even remember them after he said them.
What do you love most about Guy and being married?
There are so many things that I love about him. It would be hard to just pick one, but he is very kind, he's very generous, and even though he's a redhead, he's very patient. Because all the time, so my life goal when I wake up every morning is to annoy him as much as possible throughout the day, just so I get him to bite. But he's actually very patient, he doesn't bite very often, and it's very difficult to have an argument with him.
What qualities do you and Guy bring to the table?
So, like I already said, Guy is very kind, he's very generous, he loves animals, he is a hunter-gatherer, so if shit went sideways and we had 0 money, Guy would be able to go out, get our food and feed us. I am the organiser, and it's actually really hard to organise something in my house without my input, because even if you don't want it, you're getting it. So, he has lots of qualities I don't have, actually. Like, he really likes people. I don't. I just like quiet, that's what I like.
How did you get engaged?
So yeah, this is actually a pretty funny story. So, I don't know about Canada, but in the UK we have a tradition where a woman can ask a man to marry him, but only on one day every 4 years. So the February after Guy and I got together was a leap year. And when I met Guy, he was so awesome, and I was like, if I marry this dude, then he can't get away, and nobody can steal him from me, because that's important. So I decided that I would ask him to marry me, but I wrote it down in a little letter, gave it to him, and ran away. Because I'm really mature like that.
Tell us what drives you crazy about Guy.
Oh my god, so many things. So actually, so I do want to point out that Guy is a good learner. If I'm like, yo, that's really pissing me off, can you stop it? And he tries his hardest to stop it. So there's things like not hanging his laundry up in the closet like a regular person. If you haven't seen the video, you should watch it. There is not replacing the toilet roll. That drives me nuts. And there is the constant, every time he gets in my vehicle, he has to press a button. Don't move my seat, don't move my mirror. If you are going to do those things, put them back where you found them.
What do you think drives Guy crazy about you?
It feels like you're referring that I actually have things that irritate Guy. It drives him mad if I have my shoes on and I'm stood in the kitchen. He doesn't like that. And also, he doesn't like it because I have more clothes than him, even though I don't. He has 100 t-shirts, but apparently I take up more of the wardrobe than him. So that drives him nuts. Oh, and my bags and my shoes. Okay, how many is that? Let's go to the next question, Michael, because apparently there's a few.
Has he ever cooked for you, and how was it?
So he cooks a lot now, but before he never used to cook at all. And when he did cook, it was the weirdest shit together.
Was it like student meals? Kind of
No, it wasn't so it's kind of like a student meal, but with I'm trying to be posh and chefy at the same time. Because, fun fact, if you don't know this about Guy, he used to be a microwave technician. Yes, he did. So, he cooked this dinner one night because I was working really late, and it was asparagus, mushrooms, and soft-boiled eggs. As weird and stupid as it sounds, it actually was really good, and I was annoyed while I was eating it because I'm like, this actually tastes really good.
If Guy was a superhero, who would he be and why?
So I think Guy would be a combination between a few superheroes. 100% he is the Hulk, without a doubt, but he also slyly thinks he is Wesley Snipes' Blade, and he also would kill to be Iron Man. So I think he definitely has the temper of the Hulk. Okay, so the Hulk, Deadpool, without the humour, because I have Deadpool's humour, I think, and Iron Man, because he wants to do good in the world.
If you two merged together to become one superhero, what would the
Oh my
superhero's
God.
name be?
What would you even... That would be one messed up superhero. It would laugh all the time, for definite. And it would want to fix everything. It would have a temper. I think it would definitely have a different colour skin, for sure. And weird hair. And Ed Sheeran glasses. So like Super Ted, minus the T.
And for the final question, Sammi, can you summarise 10 years of marriage?
I think it's really important for there to be more laughter than shitty times. So many people think that arguing as a couple is normal, but I don't think it is, because we don't really argue. That is mainly based on the fact that I am right all the time. So, you know, what is there to argue about, really? Trust is a two-way thing, can't just have it one way. We've done a lot of stuff in 10 years, to be fair. We moved up north first and then to another country. And I think if you don't have faith in each other, you don't have hope that it will be okay, and you don't have trust that everything will work out how it's supposed to, then I think that things would be terrible. And also, Guy's pretty lucky. Also, just saying.
Do you think if you never tied the knot but you stayed together as a couple, you would still last to the decade?
I don't think that marriage has kept us together, but it does make you think in times of madness and anger and when you're feeling low and all that other stuff, it does make you second guess whether you should stay or go, because you made a commitment, and you know, that's really, to me, that's important. So my life would be very different. It's weird because actually through life you make all these decisions which people say your destiny is pre-mapped for you. I think that's rubbish. You make your own destiny. So I don't know. I think for us it doesn't really matter where we are, as long as we're together. That's what matters.